He stepped out of the glass building slowly, not angry, not shouting, just tired. The single father held his worn folder tightly against his chest, as if it was the last piece of hope he had left. Behind him, the doors closed softly. Inside that building sat one of the most powerful billionaires in the city, a man who had interviewed hundreds of people and rejected thousands. But today, something felt different. The man's name was Daniel. Daniel was not lazy, and he was not careless. He was simply exhausted. 3 years earlier, his wife had passed away after a long illness, and from that day on, Daniel became both father and mother to his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. Every morning he woke before sunrise, cooked breakfast, packed lunch, tied shoelaces, and whispered encouragement. He always said, "Be good in school, and remember, Papa is trying." Daniel worked small jobs, temporary jobs, and night shifts. But today's interview was different, because this job could change everything. The office was large and quiet. Across the table sat the CEO, Mr. Harrison, a billionaire known for discipline and sharp judgment. The interview began normally, but then the questions grew technical. Daniel hesitated and answered honestly, sometimes slowly and sometimes incorrectly. He did not lie, and he did not pretend. When asked why his resume showed gaps, Daniel paused and said calmly that he was taking care of his daughter. The CEO nodded and wrote something down. The interview ended politely, and the CEO thanked him for coming. Daniel stood up, bowed his head slightly, and thanked him for his time. No excuses, no complaints. He knew he had failed. As Daniel walked out of the building, his phone vibrated. A message from Lily. "Papa, did you get the job?" Daniel stopped near the sidewalk and typed slowly, "Not today, my love, but Papa tried." He looked up at the sky, took a deep breath, and smiled, because Lily was watching him, even from far away, and that mattered more than rejection. Back inside the office, silence filled the room. The CEO stared at the resume again. Something bothered him. Not the mistakes, but the honesty. He remembered his own childhood, a time when his father had worked 2 jobs and still missed dinners. Suddenly, the CEO stood up. "Where is the man who just left?" he asked. "Sir, he's already gone," an assistant replied. Without another word, the billionaire walked out. Then he ran. Outside, Daniel heard footsteps behind him. "Sir, please wait." He turned around. The billionaire CEO stood there, out of breath. "I made a mistake," the CEO said. Daniel looked confused. "You didn't fail the interview," the CEO continued. "You showed me something rare." "What's that?" Daniel asked, quietly. The CEO smiled. "Character." The CEO offered Daniel a position, not because he was perfect, but because he was trustworthy. You can learn skills, but values, those are already inside you. Daniel's eyes filled with tears. "But my daughter," he began. "She comes first, always." Years later, Daniel still worked at the company, but more importantly, every evening, Lily waited by the window, and Daniel always came home. Because sometimes success doesn't come from passing interviews. Sometimes it comes from walking away with dignity. If you are listening today and feeling tired, rejected, or unseen, remember this: the world may test your skills, but life rewards your character.